I'm thrilled to be in Winston-Salem with thousands of loyal, hard-working American patriots. You are great people. Great people.
President Trump in the Triad inside his first public event here as president.
A Greensboro staple plans to close its doors. Why Gibbs will soon be gone for good. Plus, a Triad teen nearly drowned. How a Good Samaritan stepped in on the North Carolina coast.
We begin tonight with President Trump bringing his campaign to the Triad. He held a rally at Reynolds Airport in Winston-Salem.
We have coverage from inside and outside the event tonight. Thousands of people showed up.
Let's start with the president's speech. WFMY News 2's Tahisha Moyes is there live tonight. Tahisha, this is the first time the president has held a public event in the Triad since taking office.
Yes, President Trump came out swinging tonight, aiming not only at his opponent, Joe Biden, but also at Governor Roy Cooper, saying North Carolina should be open. Now, Trump characterized tonight's rally as a peaceful protest as a way to get around mass gathering restrictions. Trump spent time outlining his accomplishments over the last 4 years, including a thriving economy and low unemployment rates pre-COVID, building 300 miles of the southern border wall and tax cuts. He also stressed he's about America first.
So I'm running for re-election to keep jobs at home, to put violent criminals behind bars, and to ensure the future belongs to America, not to China and other countries. Let us go in, I said. Let us go in. Because if we win, America wins.
Trump characterized Joe Biden as weak and said in a second term he would uphold free speech, the right to bear arms, and keep America out of war. The president says he stands for law and order, and instead of standing against law enforcement, he stands for them. He also talked about presidential appointments.
We will appoint prosecutors, judges, and justices who believe in enforcing the law, not their own political agenda. We will ensure equal justice for citizens of every race, color, religion, and creed.
President Trump calls this next election the most important one in history, vowing to make the country better than it's ever been. Now, in 2016, Donald Trump won North Carolina, and many political experts say he will need to win it again this year in order to tip the scales in his favor.
Tahisha, thank you. Hundreds stood in the audience to listen to the president speak. They got temperature checks before being allowed in.
The bigger crowd actually wasn't in the audience. It was outside. Look at the hundreds, if not thousands, just outside the barricades, all Trump supporters. Some came by busload from other parts of the Triad.
WFMY News 2's Alma McCarty is also live in Winston-Salem tonight. Alma, Reynolds Airport was packed. You spoke to some people as they walked into the event.
We really did see busloads of people arrive here to see the president, and although this might not have been his biggest crowd to date, they were certainly enthusiastic.
Make America great again, y'all. Hats, t-shirts, flags.
Supporters of this message and of the president arrived in waves, hopping off charter buses, eager to attend the campaign rally at Reynolds Airport. Some, like Kim Doust, Trump 2020, have been die-hard followers from the beginning.
He does what he says and says what he does. You don't have to like him on a personal level, but he has gotten things done, and that's what I'm most happy about.
Although he's too young to vote, Noah Galarza made the trip from Asheboro to see President Trump.
I like Trump. I like what he stands for. He wants to keep our freedoms, and I just like him, who he is, yeah.
Fredo Smith didn't always side with Trump.
Let's just say when he was campaigning, I didn't take him serious. After a while, after he became president, I noticed he was sticking to his guns.
A mile or so from the mostly unmasked crowd, a smaller group of protesters gathered, unhappy with this campaign stop in their city. Annalise Sattler helped organize the protest.
The message spread by Trump's campaign has been harmful to vulnerable communities since before he took office. Inviting that message into our community is something that we want to make clear we're just not about.
There were some people that were protesting a little bit closer to the event, actually along North Liberty Street, not far from where I'm standing here, not far from the airport. Some were even driving past the airport in their cars shouting things, but right now the road is back open and all of the spectators have gone home after this presidential campaign rally.
Alma, thank you. Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden also held a North Carolina-focused event tonight. His was virtual. The message was all about voting early. Former candidate for Georgia Governor Stacey Abrams spoke, and so did North Carolina Senators Gladys Robinson and Jeff Jackson. Biden himself did not speak. Tomorrow, the Trump campaign returns to the Piedmont Triad. Eric Trump is holding an event in High Point. It's at AA Stables at 6:30 p.m. You can register for tickets online. It's part of a 3-city tour to stump for his father.
New at 11, Guilford County school leaders are proposing a new plan to get students back in the classroom. It could have some elementary students doing face-to-face learning by October 20th. WFMY News 2's Marissa Tansino has more on the proposal and when the district could make a decision.
The district presented their plan to get kids back to the classroom. If coronavirus data starts trending in the right direction, kids could start getting phased back into school starting October 20th. The Guilford County School Board is working on a plan for re-entry. One option is Superintendent Dr. Sharon Contreras' recommendation of a phased approach.
To make sure we give staff, families, and students the opportunity to become acclimated to very new protocols in our schools.
Here's what it could look like. On October 20th, all of pre-K through 2nd would return to the classroom full-time, and 6th grade would return just twice a week. A week later, on October 26th, grades 3 through 5 would phase in full-time. 7th and 8th graders would come back twice a week. High school wouldn't return until January 20th. Some board members expressed concerns about that.
The high school students are starved for the social and emotional part of their high school education, and we all know that is important.
Contreras said she understands those concerns, but stands by her recommendation.
The health department, is supporting our recommendation, especially since the virus seems to be more readily transmitted by older students.
Contreras says the district has room in all but 3 elementary schools to allow for social distancing. So she says other options could be another school or renting more space. And the board will vote on next steps at their meeting September 24th.
Marissa, thank you. There are still several weeks of remote learning ahead. Students will keep studying with computers. Many parents work remotely as well. All that screen time can affect your health. Experts share the effects screens have on all ages. Coming up later.
A 10-year-old is in the hospital tonight after a car hit him while he was crossing the street this morning. High Point police say the child was heading home after picking up his lunch from a Guilford County school bus. As he crossed Willard Road, a car struck him and then drove off. A school bus's security cam caught a picture of that car. It's a white 4-door sedan with a dangling passenger side mirror. The child is at Brenner Children's Hospital in Winston-Salem tonight with serious injuries. If you have any information about this situation, please call High Point Police.
There are 3 new living facility outbreaks in the Triad tonight. First, in Forsyth County, Brook Ridge Retirement Community confirmed its 2nd outbreak. 2 total cases, both are staff members. Then in Alamance County, Coble Creek in the Twin Lakes community in Burlington. 2 total cases there, again, both staff members. Lastly, Peak Resources Alamance is dealing with its 2nd outbreak. There are 2 cases, both are employees. The largest active living facility outbreak in the Triad is growing. Maple Grove Health and Rehab is in Greensboro. It confirmed 2 new cases today, now up to 126 total. 22 people have died there.
The coronavirus is to blame for closing another popular Triad business. Gibbs 100 Brewing Company is shutting down this weekend. Gibbs first opened in downtown Greensboro 6 years ago and then moved to State Street in 2018. The owner says he has struggled to stay afloat during the pandemic, but it's proved to be too much. Gibbs closes for good on Sunday night. Well, maybe you remember the closure of another Greensboro business this summer. Southern Lights Bistro on Lawndale closed in June. Now the former owner of Bistro Bees in Kernersville says he plans to buy the building and open a new restaurant. No word yet on a name.
Have you seen this unusual billboard on Battleground Avenue in Greensboro? It says things like, follow the order, where's the logic, and your governor is in control. Turns out Greensboro developer Marty Kotis is behind the billboard. We spoke to the artist who helped him create the messages. He says he based the style off Soviet propaganda, but the words are all Mr. Kotis. We asked Kotis why he put up the billboard.
I hope people think about the science and also think about the politics that are involved here, because politics should not be involved in science and health safety decisions. It should be how to keep people safe, which I'm 100% supportive of. We want people to think, and that's another scary thing right now is people are afraid to have conversations or think or discuss things, and they shouldn't be.
It's important to note State Health Director Dr. Mandy Cohen cites scientific studies here and abroad to back up the governor's executive orders. Judges have ruled in favor of the governor in several lawsuits questioning those decisions. Many of Kotis's businesses have been affected by Governor Cooper's orders, especially Red Cinemas, less than a mile from that billboard on Battleground. It remains closed under Phase 2.5.
It has been the center of protests for months, and today the Alamance County Board of Commissioners learned they don't have the power to move the Confederate monument in Graham. A study revealed the statue is county-owned, but the county still doesn't have the authority to take it down or relocate it because of state law.
The county government is obliged to follow state law, and in 2015, the state of North Carolina passed General Statute 100-2.1, protection of monuments, memorials, and works of art.
Protests broke out today outside of the Board of Commissioners meeting. Some were there because of the Confederate statue. Others were demonstrating against the 100-plus coronavirus cases at the Alamance County Jail. 4 people were arrested.
Tim, you've been warning us that the beautiful weather over the weekend cannot last forever, and unfortunately that's been the case. If only we could stick around for a while.
Yeah, it's already gone, Chad. That's true. Really, throughout the day today, we notice going from dry air in the morning back to the soupy, sticky feel that we really sweated through most of the summer. This is the current dew point temperature. We like to show this because it really is just the key to your comfort. It's that simple. When it's around 70, it is feeling oppressive or tropical or sticky, however you would like to classify it. That's what it is, and it's moving in from the ocean. We have this week a wind that's kind of opposite of what we usually have. It's called an onshore flow, bringing the ocean air across the state. And throughout the day today, there have been several rounds of showers, mainly for eastern North Carolina so far. But going into tomorrow, there's a low pressure area out here. This is going to be guiding even more of this moisture into the state. So here's what Futurecast has to say. Going into tonight, mainly quiet, but by tomorrow, even the morning or midday hours could have several of these scattered showers and occasionally some more robust downpours. So you got to be ready for rain at any time. It's not going to be a washout, but occasionally it could rain pretty hard for 30 minutes or so. Going into Thursday, it's more of the same and a similar story for Friday. This is a persistent, muggy, and occasionally wet weather pattern, and it takes us through the weekend. Temperatures aren't that bad, only in the mid to upper 70s tomorrow. But again, it comes with the humidity and that sticky feel and the showers from time to time. Let's call for high of 77 degrees. That's your Wednesday. You can hold me to that. Coming up, we'll be talking about the Tropics 2 systems and maybe more on the way.
A Triad teenager nearly drowned at the coast over the weekend. He was swimming at Oak Island when he had a seizure.
17-year-old Jackson Boswell is from Winston-Salem and has epilepsy. He started having an episode while walking into the waves. Somebody standing nearby saw him floating in the water and sprung into action.
Holly Quinn is an off-duty nurse from Greensboro who was vacationing at the coast with her family. She started compressions and likely saved Jackson's life.
He got back his pulse and EMS crews brought him to the hospital to recover. His family calls it a miracle.
If God had not placed the people strategically on the beach on Saturday at Oak Island, our child wouldn't be alive. We would be planning a funeral, not planning on going home.
And some more good news here. Jackson was taken off a ventilator on Sunday and is now breathing on his own.
Glad to see that he is doing so much better. We're all spending a lot more time on our phones, tablets, computers. That's what happens when many people are working remotely.
Right. Health experts are concerned about all that screen time, not for what it does to your eyes, but what it does to your breathing. It's next.